don't have everybody. And then I'm doing. Oh, yeah. No, I know our tradition is they have the.
They're not speaking.
Brianna, can you still hear us? Yeah. I got
Brianna, one last technology check. Are we good? Sound, video, no echoes? Okay.
Perfect. And just checking to make sure you can hear us. You want to give us a thumbs?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think we got the tech issues all worked out. Good morning and welcome to the monthly BOCES meeting for RMSEL. My name is Dr. Carrie Olson and I'm the representative from Denver Public Schools and I'm the board chair. And I'd like to offer my board colleagues to introduce themselves. We'll start with online. I'm Brianna.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brianna Mestes. I am representing the Public Education and Business Coalition, PEBC.
Anne.
Hi, good morning. I'm Ann Egan with Cherry Creek Schools.
I'm Becky Martin, Douglas County School District. Angela Christensen with Littleton Public Schools. And Chad, would you like to introduce
Chad
yourself?
Burns, Executive Director at RMSEL.
Julie Stelzer, Finance Director at RMSEL. Chris Fevito, Enrollment Coordinator at RMSEL.
Excellent. And normally we have our guests introduce themselves because we only have like one or two, but today with a full house, we'll just say welcome to all of you. And it's so nice to see a lot of people here. Usually we feel like we're the only one. So we're really glad that you're here today. And welcome to everybody in our viewing audience. With that, I will call this meeting to order. And our first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Motion to approve agenda. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor say aye. 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 Great. Our second item is to approve the minutes from September 28th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of September 28th, 2023.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. There we go. And I'll turn it over to Chad for the executive director report.
All right, you have a copy of this in your board package today as well. I know on Monday of this week, we sent communication to the community, students, parents, and staff about Aurora Public Schools and the presentation we had on Tuesday night. So Dr. Olson and I were invited to present before the Aurora Public Schools Board of Education at their monthly business meeting. During this presentation, we were able to share. 2-second pause to let Michelle doing.
Great.
All right, start over. We were able to share 30 years of successful partnership with the district, as well as the current intergovernmental agreement contract 2027. The current agreement goes through 2027. In addition to review of our contractual partnership, we highlighted our current enrollment, student achievement, and commitment to continuing to create diverse learning expeditions that engage students in learning that creates a mastery of content standards. The Aurora Public Schools Board of Education shared a variety of questions in understanding the success of this partnership and how it continues to benefit students from their district without engaging in competitive school choice. I took the opportunity to remain at the meeting until the conclusion, thanking their board members personally, as well as a follow-up extension of gratitude yesterday. While Aurora Public Schools currently has 31 students enrolled at RMSEL, the board understood the importance of school choice in serving these students and families, as well as an expressed interest in making sure other families in the district were informed that RMSEL is a choice option that they may explore. First, I want to thank Director Ortiz for her service on the Aurora Public Schools Board of Education, as well as the RMSEL BOCES. During the presentation, she shared her family's personal experience with our school, but she did not have to. She expressed she attended an open house, completed the lottery application, and shadowed campus with her family. She found our process to be inclusive as well as transparent and informative. Please join me in celebrating her service as well as the continued investment of Aurora Public Schools.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I jumped on when I did. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you. I was going to pause and say, maybe you want to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you so much. If there's one thing I have learned how to do in my 4 years sitting on the APS Board of Education is to speak from the heart when it comes to you. And so on Tuesday night, I definitely had that instinct and glad I ran with it. So I meant every word that I said and fully support the opportunities and programming that's provided at RMSEL. And I'm glad that my peers have decided to stay with the course for the time being. Of course, we know things can change, and I'll be transitioning out of this position here in a couple months. But it was also a great opportunity to not only educate and inform some of my peers about RMSEL and letting them know that there'll be an open seat here soon with the new election. But most importantly, getting the word out to whoever was listening that night, and to families in APS about RMSEL. And so I think there was a robust conversation about opportunities to possibly do some referrals and just getting people more informed about RMSEL, so that everyone has all the options they need to make the right choice for their kiddos. So again, thank you both for being there Tuesday night, and I'm glad we're staying the course.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to all of your board colleagues. I thought that was a really good idea, and I appreciate you making that happen. I wasn't able to stay all the way to the end, as I had been in 8 hours of board meetings before that, and I was exhausted. I had no more left in me that night, but thank all your board colleagues on my behalf as well. We really appreciate it, and we're glad Aurora is staying. I think that gives us a much more solid future for RMSEL. So thank you. Does anybody else, either Anne or Brianna and Angela or Becky, have any comments before we move on? All right, great. Shuttle, we can continue. I just felt like that was important to pause at. Thank you.
We're one quarter through the school year. Our students have engaged in rich fieldwork experiences, their crew trip, and have worked diligently to complete their first final product of the year to be included with their respective portfolios. I want to thank our amazing team of teachers and staff, as well as our parent community, for working collectively for our students to succeed. We come together this Friday to celebrate our first round of Leaders and Achievers, and that's recognition for character excellence as nominated by crew leaders and specialist teachers, and then student achievement awards for those students that receive accomplished or exemplary grades across the quarter. The first quarter of the year sets the foundation for the entire year, and I can't wait to participate throughout the remainder of the year in support of our students reaching their full potential. So congratulations to you guys. Enrollment has concluded. We projected an enrollment of approximately 400 students, and that fluctuates throughout February until the final count on October 1st. We budgeted originally for 395 total students based on strong early projections. Throughout August and October, we had students get into other school options from wait lists and relocate outside of the metro area, which has resulted in a total enrollment of 378. And these transitions are challenging, as 4 notifications were made during the count window, of which we were unable to fill in time to receive funding. And so a revised budget will reflect this loss in revenue in the PPR in January, which Julie will provide a revised budget. Upcoming school events, Leaders and Achievers this Friday morning at 7 a.m. in the community room, where we're recognizing approximately 60 students for the first quarter. Curriculum Camp is on your board calendars as an optional BOCES event. That is when our professional learning staff works with our teachers for 2 full days of professional development. And that is the Monday and Tuesday prior to the Thanksgiving holiday. Specifically, we have our staff working on their next case study, planning field work, opportunities for kids to get outside of the classroom. And then we celebrate presentations of student learning at exhibition night. Both optional board events on December 7th, which is a Thursday, and December 14th, which is a Thursday as well. As part of our renewal of annual committee members that serve on the RMSEL District Accountability Committee, we provided the opportunity for new applicants as outlined in the bylaws. I reviewed 9 total applicants for the 3 vacancies, and the applicants with an overview of their experience will be submitted today under action for the BOCES to approve. We look forward to our meeting on November 6th, 2023 at 3:15. We'll get those, links out to those as well with Zoom links included in the notes.
And you've already invited the BOCES board, right?
Everybody,
Yep, okay. Thanks. Didn't see that, but. Okay, that's.
I'll make sure I'm linked, developed.
All right.
In the words of grades.
All right. Anybody have any comments or questions about the executive director report? Going once, going twice. I know you sent us invitations for the upcoming invites. I really appreciate that for participating in some of the celebrations. So that's excellent. I was looking forward to hearing what Julie has presented. So looking forward to hearing your update about the budget. So thank you for that. And I appreciate the people who have stepped up to want to be on the district accountability committee. So that'll be good for us to be able to look at the review before we go. So thank you. All right, our next item is the student government presentation. So we're looking forward to hearing from the students.
Hi, my name is Arwen Tompkins. I'm a senior here. I've been going here since kindergarten. We have started our student government in September, around mid-September. We have had, I believe, 3 meetings since we've started every other week. So far, we have gone over the proposal for our middle school dance, which did get approved. So we now have a middle school dance going. We also chose our prom theme of the 1960s. And then, I know, and we have started our Wednesday weekly announcements. So our announcements are around like 1 to 3 minutes, and it just goes over what every grade is doing or what every couple grades is doing, and things to look forward to, events to look forward to, any announcements, and then a joke at the end. It's just a way for us to bring our community more together, because it tells us what kindergarten is doing, and it tells kindergarten what the seniors are doing, and it just mixes all the grades so that we all know what everybody is to, and we can ask questions about it. I have asked the kindergartners about life, which was one of the things that they were learning yesterday about treating kids, and they were very excited. So I'm happy to hear that. We also created a 2-paragraph, I don't know what to call it, like speech comment about the Aurora stuff before it got approved that they were saying. So I'm just gonna read that now.
Of course.
As a K through 12 school, Friendsville cares deeply about each of its students. When you enter through kindergarten, you're instantly put into a space where you can thrive. With more one-on-one learning and support from teachers, students here can thrive more than they would in every average large school. We also have the chance to go on out-of-school experiences and experience the real world through either outdoor trips or internships. Outdoor trips help us understand and connect with nature, from visiting wolves in Yellowstone to sailing around islands on a sailboat and everything in between. Internship allows high school students the unique opportunity to actually do work in the field they're interested in, from teaching to turtle rescue. We also get the chance to grow up with people since we were young. I've known my own peers, Isaac and Joshua, since I was 5, and we are now, when I was in kindergarten, and we are now seniors together, all 3 of us. So I've had 13 years of friendship with both of those people, and the sense of community in high school is strong, with weekly community meetings that allow us to connect across grades and crews with various activities. Everyone knows everyone, and everyone has an inside joke with each other. The relationships with teachers is also strong, each teacher putting in the care and effort into the well-being of students, whether with grade or their mental well-being. Each person cares for each other here. My experience here is different than my counterparts at bigger schools and our sister districts. That's why I think RMSEL offers valuable pieces to me in the community. Thank you. So that's what we've done so far. We're now going to be actually planning both of those dances and looking into different ways so that we can better our community. We're also doing bi-weekly meetings with Jesse on the Tuesdays that we don't have student government. Jake and myself to go over any comments or questions or concerns that my peers have, so that we can get a response from the admin team and keep a communication.
Is there something else?
Yeah, so second presentation is students sharing their service project. So Isaac Valley, why don't you come stand next to Heather here on the left so that Al picks you up. Introduce yourself and share. Yeah, you're good then.
Loudly. Yeah, well, the owl pick them up there.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should.
Okay, hello, my name is Isaac Contreras. Like Pip said, I've been here since kindergarten. And me and a crew of other high schoolers, have been working on a service project to give firewood to Pine Ridge Reservation up in South Dakota. Because they don't get they don't have heat and electricity like we do. So they need firewood to keep them warm during the winter.
Yeah, well, my name is Allison Spiegel. I'm also a senior here. I started coming to RMSEL in 7th grade. I'm part of the wood chopping crew that we meet every week after school on Mondays for about 2 hours. We have a solid crew of 12 people who meet every week and work together to produce all the wood. I think Isaac knows exactly how much we have created so far. Do you?
2 lakes or something?
Cords.
Cords.
Big mound of.
Yes, a very large pile of wood.
You guys have probably seen it out in the field. It takes up a lot of space, but.
So this began with our teacher, Eric Dingle. He brought up the idea to, I don't remember when, but he just brought it up, and I found that really interesting, as I am of indigenous descent. And I wanted to be able to help and assist those who are similar to me or who I have a bond. And I wanted to further build that relationship with RMSEL and the Pine Ridge Reservation, because it could open up a lot of opportunities for learning and service and like getting to know that whole world. So I thought that was really valuable to our community.
I would like to also throw in that in a few weeks, we are going to make a trip to Pine Ridge Reservation, a small group of us from the wood chopping crew. And we're going to go and deliver the wood to the reservation, which Isaac has planned and worked with some of the leaders that are part of the organization.
Yeah, the organization is the TP Raisers. They do a lot of service work for and with the indigenous people on reservations. Yeah.
I think, do you guys have your speaking? I think.
We have one more comment from the middle school to see they had prepared.
Hi, I'm Lucia. Okay, I've been a student at RMSEL for about 2 years, and I've learned lots of useful lessons and lots of skills that I would have never learned. Like I learned how to pitch a tent, and I learned while on the cruise trips, I met a lot of friends I thought I wouldn't be friends with, which I thought was a really cool opportunity that RMSEL provides. RMSEL has 5 core values, I'm sure you guys know, but they shape our education. It's compassion, courage, integrity, discipline, and responsibilities. Irresponsibility, these core values shape our students into the incredible people that they are. And having a rural public school in our community is important because it makes the school accessible to everybody in the community and in Denver. And it allows students from different backgrounds and different families to get an experience as unique as ours.
I think that's it from student government. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much to all of you for being here today and speaking to us. I'll open it up for discussion from my board colleagues if you have any questions that you'd like to ask or thoughts you'd like to share.
I have a question for the Pine Ridge. So do you have a connection that you chose, the reason that you chose Pine Ridge? Did you have a connection out there?
Not really. It was, the connections were all set up by our teacher,
Okay,
and so that's just who I had to work with.
refresh my memory, Pine Ridge is a little more on the plains, right?
I believe so.
Yes, well, I think my husband's from South Dakota, so I think we go through and it's pretty plainsy. So I mean, so there's not a lot of trees anyway for them to have access to that. So that probably becomes a big need for the group. Okay, good. And so I'm assuming somebody's taking a big truck or something.
So the relationship with this organization, TP Razors, is from years back, and then COVID, of course, put a big halt in that, but we regained a relationship with PD last year. They had organized for us to do a service day with them where we made firewood. But it's like a side project that they have to provide firewood, just so people can stay warm through the winter up there. But they're gonna come on Monday. We'll do our first load. We're gonna load up a big horse trailer
Yeah,
with the wood, and you nailed it, right? There's not many trees up there. And then, of course, urban areas have lots of trees because of irrigation.
yeah.
So we have the trees, and it's been a cool partnership.
Oh, good. Thank you. That sounds like a neat project.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go to Brianna.
Yeah, thank you. So I just wanted to say that I really appreciate hearing directly from students. This really makes my heart happy. And I think you are such important stakeholders to have in board spaces. So thank you so much for taking the time to prepare and come and present to the board. I'm also really struck by just the level of investment that you all have in the RMSEL community, and even having named that you've been there for many years. And I think we're seeing the fruition of your leadership and the investment in the community. So it's really beautiful to see. For the folks who are going to Pine Ridge, as you were speaking, I was thinking about a text that we dug into. It's called Research's Ceremony. Let's see if I can get the book cover there. And it's Indigenous Research Methods. And I know you aren't going to be doing research per se, but I wanted to give a framework for what has really helped me in just being in Indigenous centered spaces. And Sean Wilson, he talks about the 3 R's, and that's respect, reciprocity, and relationality. And so I'm really curious to hear, I'll be super excited to hear about the experience. And I will also be curious to hear how, what you all experienced in terms of those 3 R's and what connections you might be able to make from your time in Pine Ridge to a local context. So I'm just so excited for you all. And like I said, I really am looking forward to hearing a debrief and some of that learning afterwards. So thanks so much.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, go
I
ahead.
just remembered something. With the Pine Ridge Reservation, it also helps parents be a part of the community as well. My father is an arborist. He does a lot of tree cutting. So he is able to both donate trees and also lend us his wood splitter and help out. And he can't usually come to like events that we would, like the early day, like award ceremonies or exhibition night, just because of his work schedule, but this allows him to come in. I also know the sophomore Alex, his father has also been helping and chopping wood with us. Isaac's brother has been helping. We've had a lot of different more adult volunteers that have been able to become a part of the RMSEL community, either again with Isaac's brother or just because their kid is in the community.
That's great. That's a really good one. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else share anything? I would I really appreciate hearing from students again. I was one of the people who said we need to start hearing from students in our board meetings. Like, you're the reason why we're here. So I'm really glad that you all showed up this morning, and I look forward to an update. So I'd love to hear how the middle school dance goes. I'd love to have you back to hear about the 1960s prom. And of course, your trip to Pine Ridge, that would be great. And it sounds like the Wednesday news announcements are going well. So as always, let us know if there's anything we can do to help you with that, but we really appreciate you being here. So thank you so much. With that, we will move on to open forum. And I will look at Julie and Chris because they're the ones who have all this, right? You know who's doing open. Okay,
Eric
great.
Hi, I'll go first. And my name is Eric Dinkel. I'm a high school science teacher and I've been here since 2010. So one thing that I think is cool about my role is there's only a few of us left that are bridge to the founders of the school. And so we're like the second generation there. And I wanted to speak today just to offer the teacher's perspective and to just shed some light on what happens in our world when we hear about like, oh, Aurora's questioning things, or last year when Cherry Creek and Douglas County decided to leave the IGA. And I wanted to share that because I think sometimes that gets lost. And as Carrie was just saying that, or Dr. Olson, sorry, was just saying that the student voice is so important, and we're gonna keep coming back as a student government. And so it's the teacher voice too. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that when we hear rumblings, it does shatter, it doesn't shatter, that's right. It fractures confidence a little bit, right? So because we show up and it's really not uncommon at all at any school for teachers here leaving at 5:30, 6. But we need to be able to just focus on the class, on the students. And last spring, that really shook us up, right? Like, oh, what's the future? What's the future? What's the future? We got to start looking for jobs. What are we gonna do, right? And then that makes attention go from where it should be, which is here, right? Doing this work. So I just wanted to remind the board of that. And I will also offer compliments that in general, in 14 years, I just worked with the confidence that the board is doing a great job and that the guidance is under control. I've never worried. I know you guys are doing the most for our salaries and for this and that. And I never worry about stuff. And I just wanted you guys to understand when those questions get brought up or when districts leave, that does shatter some of the idea of what this place is. So the last thing I want to do is just offer that, I think the students did really well, or even our Pine Ridge wood chopping. Those things can happen in a small environment like this in a way that I think might be different than other places, right? I think something that makes us unique is our smallness. And I know sometimes because we're small, it might be easier for the bigger districts to go, oh, it's just X amount of students, it's just X amount of students, we have thousands, right? And I understand that rational logic, but I think on the other side, I have to imagine when I talk to some of the founders of this school, that the reason why the districts were interested in this model 30 years ago was because they could then use this place as a microcosm to see and to learn about pedagogy that can move more quickly than a bigger district, right? So sometimes I wonder if the board from different districts can see the value that a microcosm like RMSEL can offer them. They can say, hey, what are those guys doing without needing to have such an obdurate body governing them, which is necessary in a bigger district. But in a smaller district, we can do things more quickly, right? And we can see how things change. Okay, and so just wanted to throw all those things out there, and I had it more well prepared, but I went off the cuff. But I appreciate you guys. And I just want to say lastly, I appreciate all the time you guys do take to make this school a great place, and I know it's valuable and I know it translates. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
The middle school's gotta go, so they're gonna.
All right. Thank you, middle schoolers. We really appreciate you being here.
Heather Colwell.
Hi, my name is Heather Colwell. I am a parent of an 8th grader now. He's been here since 6th grade. I've also taught as the teacher assistant in the kindergarten. My background is, this tells you where I'm coming from, dyslexia therapy, and in teaching English as a second language and working with immigrants and refugees to retrain and enter the workforce in other countries. I wanted to come here today after attending the Aurora meeting because I think, as Eric said, it's really unsettling to think what's happening to the school. Cherry Creek dropping out without like notice or discussion was a little bit scary. And then hearing that Aurora wanted us to present, I was really grateful. Thank you for asking for the presentation, and thank you to both of you for being there to present. I want you to know where our family comes from in choosing the school. Sorry, it's hard to think. My son is neurodiverse. It's not easy for him in school. And this school has provided him the opportunity to develop curiosity and enjoy school. The school offers a wide range, not just testing. He can go to any high school in Denver to learn how to take a test, but this school offers him something more. He can be a part of a community and excel in that community. He can't hide in the school. He gets along with everyone. So he's not going to stand up and say, hey, there's something wrong. I don't know what's happening. The teachers here are amazing in supporting that. Apologies for, I didn't expect this to upset me. The opportunities he has for presenting a portfolio and developing that are skills that we need for life. They are way better than any testing situation, than an SAT or anything else. I have hired thousands of people over my career. I have never once hired somebody because of a test score. This school offers the opportunity for students to develop community, to develop teamwork as a crew and work together, to be responsible to each other. Those are all things that I would look for in an employee. And I think our high school students, they have an exceptional opportunity here. So it's something that I do hope that you all understand is not something that you can get at every school in Denver or Cherry Creek or Aurora. Things that I would like to see going forward in the school, and this is something.
Just a couple seconds.
Yeah, so this is something I would like to ask for transparency from all of you. If there are concerns with the school, it was wonderful to be able to talk to Aurora and say what is our school, to make sure that you're educated about the school and the opportunities. It was, I hope that we can continue to do that going forward so that we have transparency and can make plans and inform others as parents and students here today, which was awesome.
Thank you, Heather. That's your time.
That's all.
Oh, okay. I was gonna do a little bit of sort of what like Heather was talking about and the importance of the school to specific children. My son is not neurodivergent, but my son is a very unique person. He's very small and he's quirky and he's intelligent and curious and a wonderful person, but he's also quiet and won't advocate for himself in any way, shape, or form. And he's been that way since he was little. He attended DPS public school for the first couple of years of the school. And we unfortunately saw firsthand what a traditional public school did to him. And it was not positive. This school offers opportunities for children like my son, like Heather's son, and like many other kids to go to school in a way that is safe and supportive and inspires their curiosity instead of squelches it, and allows them the freedom to be who they authentically are. That's one of the things about this school that I think is remarkable, is that both students and teachers embrace these people, these little people, for who they are at their core, and don't try to pigeonhole them into certain boxes. They don't try to put them in places. They allow them to put themselves in the places that they need to be. And this is a remarkable place for children like that. My kid, he doesn't have an IEP, he's not 504. So if he were in a traditional school, he would get no resources. At this school, the resources he gets is one-on-one. The resources he gets is attention
from people who matter most. And as a parent, I can't ask for anything more. Please, when you are going through and making all these decisions about the IGA and whatever, please consider the students. I understand you come from districts and you have agendas and things that you have to do for those. And I understand that you come into the meetings with that in your head, and I get that, but I'm asking you that when you walk through the doors of RMSEL, to put those agendas on the side and look at the agenda of what needs to be here and not what needs to be in other districts, because this is its own unique thing. My big question is, we understand that our remarkable leader is leaving. And yet I've heard nothing from the BOCES about our process and progress in a replacement. And I would love some communication as far as like, what are we doing? What is the plan? Pardon?
Fine, your time is.
Okay, thank you.
We have anybody else?
No, no one else. I don't know that.
Pardon me.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to be sure.
She can speak, but
She's right there. If that's
Yes.
okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Of course.
I
No,
wasn't,
that's fine.
The list.
We're a
but,
small informal
I-
group, so
I
we want to hear
appreciate
from you. You're here, so.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So my name is Kathy Dotson. I have a ninth grader here. And these are both very different questions and comments, and to dovetail into what Shauna was asking regarding Chad's departure. And perhaps it's on the agenda, I hope it is. When I was here, the last BOCES meeting, there was discussion about, are we gonna get a search firm? What does this look like in hiring Chad's replacement? So for me, as a parent, who cares greatly about this school, that is an urgency to me to find that right candidate, because we, if you haven't already heard, we're a very unique school, a very unique and personalized philosophy. So I hope there's discussion today about that. Yay. And then I was at attendance virtually at the APS meeting. And my question is mostly directed toward you, Dr. Olson. When there was discussion and APS was like, okay, we understand the concept, we understand our connection with the board members' departure and replacement coming in from Aurora. They were in agreement to continue what the relationship we currently have. And you, it seemed to me, kind of wanted to extend that, like we can do this, we can delay this until the end of December. I guess I'm asking what rules, laws, regulations in the BOCES world gives you that flexibility or latitude to extend what's already, they've already been agreed upon, or what's already in that contractual agreement. Like, why would you want to push their extension to the end of December to reevaluate their relationship with us?
Very good. So no one else?
I also was at the APS meeting and appreciate the comments that came earlier from the parents that are here. I am a parent of former students and also have, like Eric, some connection with the founders of this school. I guess my comments a little off topic from the last two commenters. What I wanted to point out was that 30 years ago, when this school was founded and the BOCES was put together, the idea was, I believe, to try to see, well, what can we do with expeditionary learning as a model? What can we learn from it? One of the things that I like about what I saw with Douglas County, and I'm very sorry to miss them and lose them, but they learned a lot from the expeditionary learning model. They instituted their own expeditionary learning model. And they're a long way away from where we're located at this point at RMSEL. So their leaving made perfect sense. They learned what they learned, they implemented from their learnings, and they made the decisions that they needed to make. I'm very disappointed in Cherry Creek. I have to say, for their lack of transparency and letting us know their reasons. And that came up in the Aurora meeting as well. Aurora wanted to know, well, what was Cherry Creek thinking? We couldn't tell them. And I think that that's unfortunate. That's the end of my comment.
Thank you. All right, with that, we are at the end of open forum. And the next item on our agenda is personnel matters. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? I move to approve the consent agenda item number 1 as presented. Thank you for reading the whole thing. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Perfect. The consent agenda passes. And discussion items. We have the Aurora Public Schools meeting, which we sort of already covered, but I didn't know if you wanted to add anything else, and then we can move into executive director search.
I mean, I read my comments in the opening with the executive director report. Just wanted to open it up for dialogue of the board because not everybody was there. Questions, and more so moving to that next piece of executive director search and how those two things go together. And just dialogue of members that weren't present. That's welcome.
Sure, and I can kick us off with it. One of the things, and this will answer some of your questions, and the rest of them can be answered in the executive director search. After Douglas County left, Cherry Creek left, and then Chad announced he was leaving. One of the things that we as a BOCES wanted to be sure is which districts are for sure staying before we started a search to understand what would this look like, because it's our understanding that if it was just Littleton and Denver and PVC, but PVC doesn't send students, what would a BOCES look like? And we've worked with legal counsel to try and figure that out. So it was really important for us to be able to understand, is Aurora committed or is Aurora not committed? And when I made the comment in the Aurora meeting, we could extend this because it was my understanding that they wanted to vote, and it sounded like some of the board members were wondering, do we need more time, whatever. So I couldn't just change the IGA and say, oh, let's push it till then. It would mean every board member on BOCES would have to go back to their board and say, could we delay the IGA to the end of December to give other districts more time? In an effort to make sure that as many people stayed as they could, but Aurora didn't vote and they stayed, so we don't need to entertain that now. But that was just an option that could have been floated through boards, but we couldn't have made that decision. I couldn't have made that decision. But I think it's important for us, as I'm speaking to the board, that as we begin this executive director search, we know which districts are committed. And as you heard Nichelle Ortiz say, she said this to her colleagues as well, like what this commitment means is someone's going to have to continue to go to meetings after I'm no longer on the board. Nichelle will miss you. But she is not up for, she's not running again, so someone else will fill her seat. So then the Aurora board will have to send someone else and we'll get them caught up. And then Anne and Becky are going to be able to stay on, as even though they're leaving at the end of this year, they'll be able to stay on and help us with the executive director search. And Brianna, of course, is committed as our Angela and I. So we wanted to be sure that it was public, that people understood what was happening. And if had Aurora voted to leave, I think then that would have spurred Denver Public Schools and Littleton to reevaluate, what are we doing? What is this going to look like? We had Angela and I talked with Chad on Monday morning. We talked with Coulter Bump, who's the attorney for RMSEL. It's always good to plan ahead, right? To know if it goes this way or if it goes this way. But now that we know Aurora is staying, we have a much better view for the future.
I think Carrie, if I can add a couple
Yeah,
things.
please.
I think, first of all, I appreciate I know our board in Littleton has received a number of emails this week from the RMSEL community, and we're very appreciative of that. And I think that again, just helps to build that relationship with Littleton and RMSEL. And then with the executive director search, in looking at that, we want to be transparent to the RMSEL community, but we also want to be transparent to anyone who's applying for that position. So we don't want someone to apply for that position thinking that everything is going to continue as it is if something were to have changed. And so I think that was something that we kind of, I don't think we've delayed anything. We're still right on track with scheduling, but want to be very transparent to applicants as well.
Exactly. And those of you who've emailed the DPS board, I really appreciate that as well. As Chad knows, I've asked all of my board colleagues to come out here for a visit so they can see firsthand what's happening. As some of you mentioned in public comment, it is, Eric, I think you said it well, like we go back to our districts and there's all these things happening that it's easy to lose sight of what's happening at RMSEL. So I think 2 or 3 of my board colleagues have visited RMSEL on my ask. I've said, you need to come out, you need to meet the families, you need to talk with Chad, you need to walk through the school so that they understand what RMSEL is. And RMSEL sits in Scott Balderman's district. I live just like 2 blocks from here. And so this is like the cutoff, but I've taken this on because as many of you know, my dissertation is based on expeditionary learning and students. So this is something near and dear to my heart. Does anybody else want to say anything? And then we can do a little more formal update on the executive director search. Brianna, I see you nodding your head. Are you? Yep. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me unmute here. Yeah, I just, let me lower my hand. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate hearing from both educators and parents. And I think that it's really important to have that perspective taking and to have those multiple perspectives, particularly in this board space. So thank you, you know, for taking the time to show up and to also share your stories and connections about why RMSEL is so important to you and your family. You know, I do want to, I think it's so important to hear those perspectives because to understand the impact of the shifts and the conversations and what it's having on the broader RMSEL community and the culture, right? So we know that nobody operates at their best when, you know, we're in a state of fear or when there's a lack of psychological safety or when trust is wavering. And so having heard some of your comments, you know, I also think about when I've been at organizations and, you know, uncertainty has creeped in. And I think that the request for the need for transparency is really resonating with me. And the request for transparency is very fair. So I appreciate hearing those specific requests and also, you know, as a former educator and a new mom, just what you're sharing is resonating a lot. And, you know, I'm thinking about the type of community that I want my son to be a part of. And yeah, so I just, you know, I won't go on more, but I appreciate hearing your perspectives. And, you know, I have a commitment to offering that transparency, again, to just to help folks know how to navigate the moment, right? I think that's all a need, a desire that we have. So again, thank you for sharing your perspectives.
Thank you, Brianna. Anybody else? I just would like to add, please come to meetings again. Like it is really, it brings a different energy to the room when you all are here, and I really appreciate it. So I would just, this is an open invitation, please come. Maybe we can rearrange a bit and have people, you know, have a seat where you can come when you're talking to us. You don't have to feel like you stand in the back, but we're really grateful for you being here and thank you. So, go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, just to piggyback on Brianna's last comments, I also wanted to thank the staff and especially parents in the room for advocating for their students. That's how I came into this role, was really just going off of the needs of my own students in my household, and then recognizing the needs and differences that all students have. And, you know, like I said, totally agree and support RMSEL's opportunities and offerings that they bring to families. With that, I'll just say that it's those moments of advocacy that really matter. And so whether it's, I think it's, you know, so when elections come up and big decisions come up and opportunities to advocate for your students, consider running for your district or and being a part of either DAC or any other committees that RMSEL offers, because that means so much. And it might come from a place of, you know, just your family, but it replicates and it's needed, you know, across communities. And wanted, you know, I do want to apologize for the things I can control, which are for causing any shakeup or anxiety, right? Our whole intention was just to make sure we're being intentional about where APS, you know, the partnership, and educating our board and our peers of what comes next and where we stood. So wanted to take a moment to just you know, apologize for causing any of that. But, you know, again, glad it all worked out. And sometimes we need those uncomfortable moments to then to bring awareness to why programs like RMSEL are so important for our community. So no, that was kind of like a mouthful, but thanks for doing the thing, Karen.
I appreciate you bringing all that up. It's very true. And it's good that we're clear now on Aurora's commitment. And so there's no doubt. And I think while it was uncomfortable and it did create stress, we are clear now. And we know exactly which 3 districts are still in, and then plus PVC. Brianna, I don't want to forget you. I keep remembering to say PVC as well. You're important. So perfect. And so I know, Eric, you mentioned like, what have we learned? I know Denver Public Schools is open to expeditionary learning schools, and there's some schools that have adopted the EL curriculum. So I think this is, but I'd love to see like a greater connection with all of that so we can continue learning as we move forward. So pin that one for later. Thank you. All right. So the executive director search update, now that we know for sure we're dealing with 3 schools, we can stay as a BOCES. We'll see what that means for, do we need more seats on the BOCES? I think that's a question Coulter was looking into for us. Like, does it mean that there will be more seats from Denver? Like, will there be more Denver board members? We just don't know, but we will know that this is a BOCES that's going forward. So now we can put out a request for a proposal for a search firm that will help us search for an executive director. And I know Chad has already started working on a job description, and the search firm will also help us with community engagement and the DAC, but we didn't want to get too far ahead, as I mentioned before, when we didn't know which districts were going to be a part of this. So now that'll move to the top of my to-do list, and with Angela's help, because she just has done a superintendent search in Littleton, and there's a firm that is interested in representing us, but we have to put out an RFP to be legal and offer it to everybody. But we do have somebody who is very interested, and somebody who knows Chad. So, and just did Aurora's search. So it sounds like it might be a good fit, but I don't want to say for sure it will be. And then we'll amp up, and it's the end of October, and it's our understanding that it is not too late. And you're right, we should have communicated better, but we were kind of waiting to see what Aurora had. So we can, I know that we as a BOCES can get letters out to families through Chad, through all of you, through your messaging system, so that we can keep you up to date. Another thing we did in Denver, and I'm sure there's school districts did too, is we have a tab. We've had a tab on our website that says here's where we are in the search. So we could also do that on the RMSEL website, just so you can always know where we are and what we're doing and how to contact all of us and what meetings we'll have. But that'll be the next step that we have. So do any of would you add anything, Angela? I know that you just did it, and actually Michelle just did too, but
yeah. I think it's a long process, and it can be a stressful process. And I think that's why having that search firm is really important to lead us and guide us, because they are the experts in doing that kind of thing. And like I said before, we just really want to be transparent to applicants about what the situation is here and what it looks like going forward.
Anybody else want to add anything? All right, so stay tuned. We'll get you more updates as we have it. So the next item on our agenda is the 2022-2023 budget carryover resolution revised. That's a mouthful.
So you all may have remembered at the last meeting that I was waiting on some information on rolling over the ESSER funds. And you voted to revise the GASB 54 resolution. This is the second part to include that money in the rollover that comes into this year. So that basically was in your packet. Does anybody have questions about it?
No, that's straightforward. Does anybody else have any questions? No? With that, do I have a motion to approve the 2022-2023 budget carryable over resolution revised?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Great. Our next action item is the District Accountability Committee appointments for school year 2023-2024.
Correct. So, per the bylaws, applicants submit, letters of interest, to me. I review those letters of interest with the lens of making sure we have adequate representation across the school community, expertise, and individuals that reflect the diversity of our school. We received 9 total applicants for those openings. Those openings are primary school K-3, we have a vacancy. Middle school 7-8, there was a vacancy, and our member at large seat, which is an outside of the school representative from an alumni or former parent or a business organization that would like to participate in that. And so of those 9 applicants, the 3 that I'm recommending to the board for appointment, I'll read a brief synopsis of their resume and their interest. Specifically in grades K through 3 at primary school, I'm recommending the adoption of Miss Rachel Cram. Rachel Cram is the parent of 2 RMSEL students, 1 in the primary school as 1 in intermediate school. Miss Cram has a background in education that includes 10 years as an administrator working in early childhood education at the Temple Sinai. Her experiences include school finance, school safety, assessment tools for advancing academic achievement and school readiness. At RMSEL, she regularly volunteers and most recently completed the first grade trip to State Forest, State Park, and Company and Crew. I think Rachel's a great applicant with her school experience, ECE, knowing that we're K-12, and a diverse community member. Middle school 7-8, Miss Ruthie Butte. Ms. Butte is a parent of 4 RMSEL students, 1 being in that middle school grade grouping, the other 3 in grades K through 6. She is a former special education teacher with a master's degree in special education endorsed across grades K-12. She's been a school building lead teacher, co-teacher, interventionist, case manager, and even a librarian. In her past school setting, she served as a PTA president in her children's former school, as well as many volunteer committee appointments. At RMSEL, Ms. Butte regularly volunteers in the classroom, on field work, and many of her child's crew trip experiences. Ms. Butte is excited to support new leadership while preserving the rich history of excellence at RMSEL. And then we only had 2 at-large applicants that could fulfill that outside of the school population. And individual that I'm recommending for appointment is Mr. Jay Lever, who's a research geologist, who's the father of 2 RMSEL graduates and 3 other students who have attended RMSEL during their educational careers. Mr. Lever is regularly available as a volunteer, and in my time here does not miss the opportunity to participate as a passage panel portfolio. Mr. Lever has accompanied students as an expert on geological crew trips to Florida, Colorado, and Yellowstone National Park. That large position is targeted to invite individuals who are no longer parents in the community to serve in the role they are passionate about, and I think Jay excels in meeting this criteria. So of the 9 applicants, that is my recommendation. Board would so move to adopt.
I didn't see that in our, is that in our packets?
Oh, no, sorry, I just read.
Oh, okay, all right, sorry, I just didn't know if I missed. All right, with that, any discussion? So do I have a motion to approve the District Accountability Community appointments for school year 2023 to 2024? So moved. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Great, motion passes. And our next item is the calendar school year 2024-2025.
Some calendar included in there. You can see that. Want to highlight a few things that are really important to our staff community. There's been large scale advocacy over time for adequate full day professional development, and I think many teachers within your districts advocate for that as well. That includes the time from July 29th through the 9th, where we engage in relationship building, staff retreats, adequate time to prepare for our classrooms, and then just 2 days of ground school to make sure we're grounded when we welcome the first students to the building. And then we repeat that curriculum process throughout the year on those 2 November days and those 2 February days that are very important to our staff. Create some challenges in creating calendars. For example, our winter break has to be 9 days instead of 10 days to accommodate that. But that also includes a nice day in April. And last year on our April staff retreat, sometimes we're working and digging into our curriculum. Other times we're working to give back and live out the values of this place. And that's when we met with Dave, and a good day of slinging an axe and running a chainsaw and giving back was just as important as planning. This takes into account feedback from the parent community that I've received and feedback from our crew leadership team, specifically around break timing. Break timing is challenging when you serve across multiple districts. And our breaks have become more disjointed over the years than they used to be. We're one of a few districts that still carry a traditional fall break period. That fall break period in October does align with the second with Cherry Creek, in the sense that Cherry Creek is one of 2 districts that still offers a full fall break period. We still enroll 100 students from Cherry Creek, so minimizing the impact to families to the degree that we can, and really preserving that time for our staff, because that's a staff that's been here since July. And then also acknowledging that they've been out on a week-long or multi-week experience with kids, and that's a rejuvenation period for them. So that's the logic and placement of that break. Winter break, very similar across districts in this particular calendar year, because the holidays fall more central than they have in past. And then spring break in March follows the Denver Public Schools calendar spring break, because they do enroll the largest number of students in the BOCES partnership. And so trying to minimize hardships to families, also acknowledging staff input. I think we have a nice calendar, and typically we review these, or the board is asked to review these in multi-year cycles. Respectfully, in transitioning leadership, I would want someone else to have the opportunity to do that, but no, we have to do the business of getting ready for next year. So just that's some input. You have a calendar. I think valuable input from staff, crew leadership team, and parents, and I'll ask for a motion.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for already including all your stakeholders in this calendar discussion, so that the time gets to us, we know that it's been vetted. So thank you. Anybody else have any discussion? All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the calendar for school year 2024-2025. So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor? Say aye. Aye. And I'd like to know that Brianna Mestis had a well baby checkup, so she is leaving to take care of her baby. So she will follow up later. Thank you. Our next item is our budget report.
So you're running there right there. Everybody gets up and goes.
Don't take it personally.
We're here for you.
Yeah, we got you.
So all the board members should have received the financial statements for up through September 30th. The 2 big things to note in here still continue to be our audit, which has not started. The audit firm had all of their schedules, all of the documents that have to be prepared by us for them to start. They had those prior to fall break. I still have not heard any update. So this may be them not starting until November and really compressing it into those 3 weeks. I did try and stress to the partner that we need to have the budget, or not the budget, the audit presented to our board in November. But you're really pushing up against everything else. So we'll see how that goes. The only other thing in here, Chad kind of touched upon, was the lower than budgeted enrollment. So in the revised budget that we put forth in January, that trickles through the entire thing. It trickles through fee income coming in, it trickles through the PPR, it trickles through money that goes to teachers and different crews for field work, trickles down to supplies, it's everything. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is going through that. So we'll be ready for you in January. I gotta come up with $150,000 somewhere that we lack in funding, so. But all I have to report, unless anybody has questions.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Julie, other than lots of thanks for all of her hard work? Thank you. All right. With that, items for future agenda, other than we'll have much more on the executive director search and hopefully some interim updates as well, but anything else for future agenda items? All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting? Motion to adjourn. Second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And with that, the motion passes and we are adjourned. Thank you, Nichelle and Ann, for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.